They say the richest place on earth is not the gold mines of Africa or the oil fields of the Middle East. It is the graveyard, because there lie millions of unfulfilled dreams, unwritten books, unlived visions, and unused talents. The difference between those who die with their dreams and those who live them is one simple word: desire. Napoleon Hill began his legendary book Think and Grow Rich with this exact principle. A burning desire is the starting point of all achievement, not a weak wish, not a casual want, but a fire that consumes your heart so powerfully that no obstacle can extinguish it. Think of every millionaire and billionaire you admire. Steve Jobs had a burning desire to put a computer in every home. Elon Musk dreamed of taking humanity to Mars. Oprah Winfrey desired not only to escape poverty, but to inspire millions around the globe. They did not simply want success. They were obsessed with it. Desire turned them into forces of nature. But here's the question you must ask yourself today. What do you truly desire? Not what society told you. Not what your parents or friends expect. What do you want so badly that you are willing to sacrifice sleep, comfort, and fear to achieve it? Hill tells the story of Edwin Barnes, a poor man who had one burning desire: to work with the great inventor Thomas Edison. He didn't have money for a train ticket, but he showed up at Edison's office declaring his intention. Edison saw the fire in his eyes and gave him a chance. Barnes began as a janitor, sweeping floors. Years later, he became Edison's trusted business partner and a wealthy man. Why? Because his desire was stronger than his circumstances. That is the essence of his first law of success. Your desire must be so definite, so clear, and so consuming that nothing, not fear, not failure, not poverty, can shake it. Now, I want you to imagine your own burning desire. Close your eyes for a moment and picture it. Maybe it's financial freedom. Maybe it's building a business. Maybe it's giving your children the life you never had. Whatever it is, see it vividly. Feel it. Desire is not just in the mind. It must sink into your heart and soul until it drives you forward every single day. Let me give you a truth that might sting. Most people will never grow rich, not because they can't, but because they never truly decide what they want. They drift through life like ships without a compass, hoping the winds of luck will take them somewhere. But luck is not a strategy. Desire is the engine. Decision is the steering wheel. Without them, you are lost. Napoleon Hill gives us a formula. If you want riches, do this. Fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. Don't say, I want to be rich. Say, I will earn $1 million. Be precise. Determine what you will give in return. There is no wealth without service. Ask yourself, what value will I create? What skill will I master? What problem will I solve? Set a definite date. Goals without deadlines are dreams that die. Create a plan and begin at once. Not tomorrow, not next month. Begin now, even if your plan is imperfect. Write a clear statement. Describe your desire, the deadline, what you will give in return, and your plan. Read it aloud twice daily, once when you wake up, once before you sleep. Let it sink into your subconscious mind. This is not just philosophy. It is psychology. When you repeat your desire daily, your subconscious brain begins to work like a magnet, attracting opportunities, ideas, and people to make it real. Think about this. Every great building once lived in the imagination of an architect. Every fortune once lived in the burning heart of a dreamer. Every breakthrough once lived in the restless desire of someone who refused to give up. The truth is, desire is not comfortable. It will push you to do things others won't. It will ask you to stay up late when others sleep, to keep going when others quit, to believe when others doubt. But that is why it works. The world belongs to those who want it the most. I want you to hear me clearly. You do not need to know how everything will happen. The how will reveal itself as you move forward. What you need right now is a fire of desire, strong enough to burn through excuses, fear, and failure. Ask yourself this tonight. What am I willing to sacrifice for my dream? Comfort? Laziness? Approval from others? Because every desire has a price. You cannot cling to your excuses and expect success. You must choose one. So, let's make this practical. After listening to this, take a notebook and write down the exact amount of wealth you desire, the exact date you want to achieve it, what you are willing to give in return. A first step you can take today. Then read it aloud with conviction, not like a hope, but like a soldier declaring victory before the battle. And when doubt whispers in your ear, remind yourself, the starting point of all achievement is desire. Your dream is valid. Your vision is possible, but only if your desire is strong enough to move you into action. This is where the millionaire mindset begins, not with money, but with burning desire. Because the truth is, wealth does not start in your bank account. It starts in your heart. So I leave you with this challenge. Decide today what you truly want and let nothing stop you. If desire is the starting point of all achievement, then faith is the fuel that keeps it alive. Without faith, desire is just a spark that quickly dies out. But with faith, desire becomes an unstoppable fire that can burn through every obstacle. Napoleon Hill calls faith the eternal elixir that gives life, power, and action to the impulse of thought. In simple words, faith is a belief that what you desire is already yours, even if you can't yet see it. It is trust in the unseen. Think about the Wright brothers, who believed in the possibility of human flight, when the entire world laughed at them. Scientists, newspapers, even friends told them it was impossible. But faith made them continue testing, failing, rebuilding. And one cold morning in 1903, faith became wings and humanity took flight. Faith is not about religion. It is about mindset. It is the inner certainty that says, I will find a way. My vision is real. My dream is valid. Here's the truth. Every great accomplishment in history was first powered by faith. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. 10,000 failures would destroy the average person. But Edison said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That is faith in action. Now, let's bring this closer to you. Desire tells you what you want, but it is faith that gives you the courage to chase it. Without faith, you will quit at the first setback. Without faith, you will give up when others doubt you. Without faith, your dream will remain a dream. So how do you build faith? Napoleon Hill gives us the secret. Through auto-suggestion, feeding your mind with positive, definite thoughts until your subconscious believes them. The human mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seed you plant will grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, I can't do it, I'm not smart enough, I'm not worthy, then failure will grow. But if you plant seeds of faith, I am capable, I am worthy, I will succeed, then success will bloom. Listen carefully. You are always practicing faith. The question is, faith in what? Faith in your failure, or faith in your success? Faith in your weakness, or faith in your strength? Here's a powerful exercise. Every morning and every night, stand in front of a mirror and declare your desire with absolute conviction. Say, I will earn your amount. I will achieve your goal. I believe in myself. I see it. I feel it. I own it. Do this daily, and soon your subconscious will accept it as reality. Why is this important? Because your subconscious mind controls your actions more than you realize. When your subconscious believes in success, your body naturally moves toward it. You begin to notice opportunities others miss. You begin to act with confidence, and confidence creates results. Let me share a story. In the 1930s, Hill interviewed Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men of his time. Carnegie revealed that he had nothing when he started, no money, no connections. But he had one thing, an unshakable faith in his ability to create value. He believed in his vision so strongly that people were drawn to him. Investors, workers, and partners trusted him because he trusted himself. His faith multiplied until it turned into a steel empire. Faith is magnetic. When you believe in yourself, the world begins to believe in you too. People can sense confidence. They can also sense doubt. That's why building faith in yourself is not just for you. It changes how the world responds to you. But let's be honest. Doubt is real. Fear is real. How do you keep faith alive when everything seems against you? The answer is persistence. Faith grows through repetition. You must repeat your affirmations daily, visualize your success daily, and refuse to entertain fear. The moment you let fear control your thoughts, faith weakens. So here's what you must do. Guard your mind. Do not allow negative people, negative news, or negative self-talk to poison your faith. Be selective about what you read, what you watch, and who you listen to. Fill your mind with stories of victory, not defeat. Surround yourself with people who believe in growth, not limitation. Remember this: faith and fear cannot live in the same mind. One will always drive the other out. If you feed your faith, your fears will starve. If you feed your fears, your faith will starve. The choice is yours. Let's make this practical. Right now, take your written statement from part 1, the exact desire you wrote down. Read it aloud. Close your eyes and see yourself already living it. Picture the home, the car, the freedom, the peace. Feel it as if it's happening right now. Let your emotions rise. Because when emotion combines with belief, the subconscious accepts it as fact. This is not fantasy. This is psychology. Neuroscience has proven that visualization activates the same brain regions as actual experience. In other words, when you vividly imagine success, your brain begins to prepare your body for it. You literally program your nervous system for victory. That is the power of faith. It bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. So, ask yourself today, do you truly believe in your dream? Not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. Not just when people clap, but when they laugh. Not just when the road is clear, but when it is blocked. Because faith is not tested in sunshine. It is tested in storms. And if your faith can survive the storm, nothing can stop your success. So here is your challenge. For the next 30 days, practice faith intentionally. Repeat your affirmation morning and night. Visualize your dream vividly. Refuse to let fear dominate your mind. Protect your belief like a treasure. Because the truth is, your dream does not need approval from the world. It needs faith from you. And when you combine burning desire with unshakable faith, you create a force that even the universe cannot resist. This is the second step to millionaire mindset. Faith, the inner power that transforms invisible dreams into visible reality. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this. Every thought you think is like a seed dropped into the soil of your subconscious mind. That soil does not care whether the seed is good or bad. Plant poison and poison grows. Plant roses and roses bloom. The subconscious will accept whatever you feed it, without question, without argument, without filter. This is why Napoleon Hill dedicated an entire chapter to autosuggestion. He called it the tool by which you can influence your subconscious mind, the bridge between desire and faith. Autosuggestion is not some mystical power. It is simply the practice of deliberately telling your mind what to believe until it accepts it as truth. Think about it. How did you learn to walk? To speak? To ride a bike? Repetition. Day after day, small messages imprinted themselves into your brain until they became second nature. Autosuggestion uses the same principle to create belief, confidence, and determination. Now, here's the secret. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between reality and imagination. If you constantly repeat to yourself, I am a failure, I am unlucky, I can't succeed, your subconscious will accept it and shape your actions to make it true. But if you deliberately tell yourself, I am powerful, I am wealthy, I am destined for success, your subconscious will also accept that and begin guiding your behavior toward it. This is why successful people seem lucky. It is not luck. It is programming. They program their subconscious with thought of success until opportunities, ideas, and decisions lined up with that belief. Let's make this real with a story. Jim Carrey, long before he was a famous actor, wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered. He dated it for $19.95 and carried it in his wallet for years. He repeated to himself daily that he was a successful actor. At the time, he was broke and struggling. But by 1995, he was paid exactly $10 million for the movie Dumb and Dumber. That is autosuggestion in action, the subconscious mind shaping reality. Now, you might be wondering, how do I practice autosuggestion in my own life? Napoleon Hill gives us a clear process. Write down your definite desire. Be specific about the amount of wealth or success you want. Read it aloud twice a day, morning and night. Not casually, but with emotion, conviction, and belief. Visualize yourself already living it. See the home, the lifestyle, the freedom. Let it feel real. Repeat until your subconscious accepts it. Do not stop when it feels silly. That feeling means your old programming is fighting back. Persist until new beliefs replace old ones. At first, your mind will resist. It will whisper, "This is ridiculous. This is not true." But repetition creates belief, and belief creates reality. Let me give you a modern example. Professional athletes use auto-suggestion constantly. A basketball player visualizes every shot going in before he takes it. A boxer repeats to himself, "I am fast, I am strong, I am unbeatable." By the time they step into the game or the ring, their subconscious already believes they are winners, and the body follows the mind. The same is true for business. Entrepreneurs who build million-dollar companies almost always begin with a strong mental image of their success. They repeat it until it becomes second nature. Then they act in alignment with that belief. Here's a truth most people miss. The subconscious mind does not just control your thoughts. It controls your habits, decisions, and even your creativity. When you plant powerful suggestions, your subconscious begins finding ways to make them real. You suddenly notice opportunities you ignored before. You meet people who can help you. You get ideas you never had. This is not magic. It is focus. Have you ever wanted a specific car, and suddenly you started seeing that car everywhere? That's the subconscious at work. When you give a clear instruction, it filters the world around you to focus on what matters. Imagine what would happen if you gave your subconscious the instruction to build wealth, success, and impact. But here's the warning. Auto-suggestion works both ways. If you let fear, doubt, and negativity dominate your mind, your subconscious will create failure. If you tell yourself, "I can't do it, I'm too late, I'll never succeed," your subconscious will close the doors before you even try. So I ask you, what have you been suggesting to yourself? Have you been your greatest supporter or your worst enemy? Here is a challenge. For the next 30 days, I want you to create a personal auto-suggestion statement. Write it down word for word. For example, by December 31st, 2026, I will have earned $500,000 through my business. In exchange, I will provide massive value to thousands of people, helping them improve their lives. I believe in my ability to achieve this, and I see myself already living in abundance. Read this aloud every morning when you wake up and every night before you sleep. Do it with passion, with conviction, with certainty. At first, it will feel forced, but slowly, your subconscious will accept it as truth. And when your subconscious accepts it, something magical happens. Your actions, your habits, and your decisions begin to align with your new belief. You work harder without even trying. You make smarter choices. You attract the right people. Opportunities seem to come from nowhere. This is the invisible power of auto-suggestion. It is the steering wheel of your subconscious. With it, you can program yourself for wealth, success, and confidence. Without it, you remain programmed by fear, doubt, and limitation. So tonight, before you sleep, I want you to repeat this. I am powerful. I am worthy. I am destined for greatness. My dream is real. My success is certain. Say it until you feel it. Say it until you believe it. Say it until it becomes who you are. Because the truth is, the story you keep telling yourself will become the story of your life. And this is the third step to the millionaire mindset. Train your subconscious mind through auto-suggestion. Because what you whisper to yourself today will become your reality tomorrow. Knowledge is power. That's what we've all been told. But Napoleon Hill makes an important correction. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes power only when it is organized into definite plans of action and directed toward a definite purpose. This is where most people go wrong. They collect degrees, certificates, and information, but never convert that knowledge into wealth. They know 1,000 facts but never apply them. And in the end, general knowledge, no matter how vast, is of little value in the game of success. What creates wealth is specialized knowledge, knowledge applied in a specific direction for a specific purpose. Think about Henry Ford. He had very little formal education. People mocked him for being uneducated. Once, a group of lawyers even questioned his intelligence in court. But Ford calmly replied, "I have a row of buttons on my desk. When I want information on a subject, I push a button and men who have that knowledge appear. Why should I clutter my mind with general knowledge when I can surround myself with specialists? That was Ford's genius. He didn't need to know everything. He needed to know how to organize people with specialized knowledge. That's how he revolutionized the automobile industry and built one of the greatest fortunes in history. The lesson is clear. General knowledge makes you a follower. Specialized knowledge makes you a leader. Now, let's bring this closer to your life. Ask yourself, what do you know that others don't? What problem can you solve better than anyone else? What skill can you master so deeply that people will gladly pay for it? That is your specialized knowledge. In the United States today, entire industries have been built not on broad knowledge, but on specialization. Take Apple, for example. Steve Jobs was not an engineer in the traditional sense, but he had specialized knowledge of design, user experience, and branding. He knew how to merge technology with art. That specialization built one of the most valuable companies in the world. Or look at Warren Buffett. He doesn't invest in everything. He specializes in value investing, a focused knowledge of finding undervalued companies and holding them long-term. His wealth didn't come from knowing a little about everything. It came from mastering one approach better than anyone else. Here's the truth. The world doesn't pay for what you know generally. It pays for what you know specifically. Think about doctors. A general practitioner earns a decent living, but a neurosurgeon who has specialized knowledge in brain surgery earns exponentially more. Why? Because his skill is rare, valuable, and difficult to replace. The same applies to lawyers, consultants, entrepreneurs, and creators. So, how do you acquire specialized knowledge? Hill gives us several strategies. Personal experience and observation. Learn by doing. Every mistake, every experiment adds to your specialized knowledge. Apprenticeship. Work under someone who has mastered what you want to learn. Education. Not just college, but courses, seminars, mentorships. Today, specialized knowledge is more accessible than ever. Online classes, workshops, and books put at your fingertips. Mastermind groups. Surround yourself with people whose specialized knowledge complements yours. You don't need to know everything, just enough to bring together the right experts. But here's the key. Specialized knowledge alone is not enough. You must apply it. Hill warns us that knowledge without action is wasted. You must take what you know and organize it into a definite plan that serves a definite purpose. Let's pause here and ask a tough question. Have you been wasting time collecting general knowledge instead of applying specialized knowledge? Be honest. If you've been consuming endless content but not using it, then you're not growing. You're just hoarding. Remember, wealth is built not by what you know, but by what you do with what you know. Here's a practical exercise. Write down 3 areas where you already have specialized knowledge. Maybe it's fitness, digital marketing, real estate, writing, leadership, teaching, or technology. Then ask, how can I apply this knowledge to create value for others? How can I turn this into income? Now write down 1 area where you want to acquire new specialized knowledge in the next 12 months. Commit to it. Take a course. Find a mentor. Start a side project. Build that knowledge into a skill the world will pay for. Specialized knowledge is your advantage in a competitive world. Most people drift through life with surface-level knowledge. The few who go deep, who master craft, become indispensable. Here's a story that proves it. Howard Schultz, the man behind Starbucks, didn't invent coffee. Coffee had been around for centuries. What Schultz had was specialized knowledge in creating an experience around coffee, an environment, a feeling, a brand. That specialized knowledge turned a simple drink into a multi-billion-dollar empire. Another example, Jeff Bezos. When he started Amazon, he didn't know everything about retail, but he specialized in understanding the internet's potential for e-commerce at a time when few others saw it. That specialized vision turned into the largest online marketplace in the world. What does this mean for you? It means you don't need to know everything. You don't need to be the smartest in the room. You need to specialize in something valuable and then act on it. Let me remind you of a truth. Schools often teach general knowledge, but life rewards specialized knowledge. That's why many people graduate with degrees, yet struggle financially. They know a little about many things, but nothing deeply enough to turn it into wealth. The path to riches is not through being a walking encyclopedia. It is through becoming a problem solver in one area. Find your area. Go deep. Master it. So tonight, ask yourself, what specialized knowledge can I develop that will make me indispensable? Write it down. Start today. Because every day you wait, someone else is deepening their knowledge, building their advantage, and moving ahead. This is the fourth step to the millionaire mindset. Wealth comes not from knowing everything, but from mastering something and applying it with relentless focus. Close your eyes for a moment and picture this. Every invention, every business, every skyscraper, every billion-dollar company you see around you once existed only in the imagination of someone who dared to dream. That's why Napoleon Hill calls imagination the workshop of the mind. It is where desire takes shape, where plans are born, and where riches are first created before they ever appear in reality. Think about Thomas Edison. Before the light bulb illuminated the world, it lived only in his imagination. Or the Wright brothers. Before airplanes filled the sky, they existed only as fragile pictures in their minds. Steve Jobs? Before the iPhone transformed communication, it was just an idea. Every fortune begins the same way, in the imagination of someone who refused to dismiss their ideas as impossible. Hill tells us there are two types of imagination: synthetic imagination and creative imagination. Synthetic imagination takes existing ideas, concepts, or facts and rearranges them into new combinations. Most businesses are built this way. For example, Uber didn't invent cars or drivers. It simply combined mobile apps with transportation. Netflix didn't invent movies. It reimagined how they could be delivered. Creative imagination is deeper. It is a source of entirely new ideas, flashes of inspiration, and hunches that seem to come from nowhere. This is imagination that gives birth to groundbreaking inventions, art, and world-changing visions. Both are powerful. Both can make you wealthy, if you learn to use them. But here's the problem. Most adults stop using their imagination. As children, we live in imagination. We dream of being astronauts, superheroes, creators. But as we grow older, society tells us to be realistic, to stay practical. And so our imagination shrinks. We stop dreaming and start doubting. Yet, the most successful people never stop imagining. Walt Disney was once told he lacked creativity. His response? He imagined Disneyland. Today, millions visit his imagination every year. Elon Musk imagined rockets that could land themselves, and SpaceX made it real. Oprah imagined a life beyond poverty, and built an empire that inspires millions. The lesson is clear. If you want to grow rich, you must reactivate and train your imagination. So how do you do it? Napoleon Hill gives us a process. He says imagination works best when it is stimulated by desire. If you know exactly what you want, money, success, freedom, your imagination begins creating plans for how to achieve it. Here's a practical exercise. Take your definite desire, the one you wrote down earlier. Now spend 10 minutes a day imagining it is real. Visualize the lifestyle. See yourself living in that home, driving that car, running that business, helping those people. Do it vividly, with emotion. The more clearly you imagine it, the more your subconscious begins finding ways to make it real. Imagination is not just fantasy. It is a tool for creation. Every time you visualize, you're rehearsing for reality. Let me give you a powerful story. Colonel Sanders, the founder of KFC, was broke and 65 years old when he decided to share his fried chicken recipe. Over 1,000 restaurants rejected him, but in his imagination, he saw a world where people everywhere enjoyed his chicken. That image fueled his persistence until finally, someone said yes. Today, KFC is a global brand. His imagination created his fortune. The truth is, imagination is a seedbed of persistence. When the world tells you no, your imagination keeps showing you yes. When reality looks empty, your imagination fills it with possibility. But here's the warning. Just like auto-suggestion, imagination can work against you. If you constantly imagine failure, disaster, or rejection, your mind will act to create it. That's why you must guard your imagination carefully. Feed it visions of success, not failure. Let's bring this home with a challenge. Tonight, before you sleep, I want you to write down one bold idea, something you've been too afraid to imagine seriously. Maybe it's writing a book, starting a business, becoming a millionaire, or building a movement. Write it down. Then every day, give your imagination 5 minutes to expand on that idea. Ask yourself, what if it were possible? What would it look like? Who could I become? Do not censor. Do not limit. Do not let practicality kill your imagination. Remember, practicality is just yesterday's imagination. The smartphone you hold today was once impractical. The internet was once unrealistic. Airplanes were once impossible. Your dream may feel unrealistic now, but tomorrow could be ordinary if you dare to imagine it and act on it. Here's another truth. Imagination works best in motion. Do not wait for a perfect clarity before acting. Start with a picture in your mind. Take one small step, and the path will unfold. Edison did not invent the light bulb in one try. He imagined it, then tested thousands of times. Imagination provided the vision. Persistence provided the result. So here's your millionaire mindset shift for today. Stop asking, is this realistic? Start asking, is this worth imagining? Because reality always follows imagination, never the other way around. Let me close this part with a thought experiment. Imagine your ideal life 10 years from now. Where are you living? Who are you with? What work are you doing? How much wealth do you have? How are you giving back? Hold that picture in your mind. That is not fantasy. That is a preview of your future. If you dare believe in it and act on it, this is the 5th step to the millionaire mindset. Imagination is your workshop. Everything you desire must first be built there, boldly, vividly, unapologetically, before it can exist in the world. A dream without a plan is just a wish. That's why Napoleon Hill dedicates one of the most important steps of Think and Grow Rich to organized planning. Because imagination without structure is wasted potential. Hill says it clearly. To transform desire into wealth, you must move from vision to a definite plan of action. Too many people stop at the dreaming stage. They visualize, they affirm, they even get excited. But when it's time to organize and act, they hesitate. And hesitation kills more dreams than failure ever could. Think of it this way. Desire is the engine. Faith is the fuel. Imagination is the design. But planning? Planning is the steering wheel. Without it, you can have all the energy in the world, but you'll crash or go in circles. So, what does organized planning actually look like? Hill breaks it into several key principles. No great success is ever achieved alone. You need a team. Hill calls it a mastermind group, a friendly alliance of people who will help you carry out your plan with knowledge, resources, and accountability. Think about it. Henry Ford surrounded himself with brilliant engineers. Andrew Carnegie had a whole team of experts guiding his steel empire. Steve Jobs had Steve Wozniak and a circle of innovators. Your mastermind doesn't need to be huge. Start with 2 or 3 people who share your vision or have specialized knowledge that complements yours. Their perspectives will strengthen your plan and help you avoid blind spots. It's not enough to say, I want to be rich. You need specifics. How much do you want to earn? By when? Doing what? What steps will you take this month, this week, today? Break your desire into measurable milestones. If your goal is to build a business making $100,000 a year, your plan might include researching your market, creating a product or service, building a sales system, marketing through specific channels, scaling once profits begin. Every great achievement is just a series of small, organized steps executed consistently. 3. Test your plan and adjust. Here's a secret. The first plan will almost never work perfectly. Hill reminds us that temporary defeat is not failure, it's feedback. The key is to test, learn, and adjust. Thomas Edison tested over 10,000 variations before creating the light bulb. Imagine if he had quit after 100. Success requires flexibility. Be stubborn about your goal, but flexible about your plan. If something doesn't work, don't abandon your dream. Revise your plan. That's organized planning in action. Even the best plans will face obstacles. Critics will doubt you. Markets will change. Fear will whisper, it's not working. This is where persistence enters. Organized planning without persistence collapses on the first setback. Persistence means sticking to the plan or improving it until success arrives. Remember, your subconscious mind is watching. Every time you persist, you strengthen belief. Every time you quit, you weaken it. 5. Back plans with immediate action. Procrastination is the assassin of success. Hill is blunt. Successful people make decisions quickly and firmly, and they act immediately. Think about it. How many dreams die because people say, "I'll start tomorrow, I'll start next year, I'll start when I'm ready"? Tomorrow never comes. The perfect time never arrives. The only time is now. Take one step, any step, today. Momentum builds from action, not thought. Now, let's bring this to life with a story. In 1976, two young men had a desire to build personal computers for everyday people. They didn't have much money. They didn't have a polished product, but they had imagination, and they turned it into an organized plan. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak began building computers in a garage. Jobs created a plan to sell the machines to local shops. He lined up deals before they even built enough units. He leveraged connections. He reinvested profits. He tested, failed, adjusted, persisted. That garage plan became Apple. Today, it's one of the most valuable companies in history. The difference wasn't just desire. Many people desired better computers. The difference was that Jobs and Wozniak organized their desire into a definite plan and acted on it relentlessly. Now, let me talk directly to you. What is your plan right now? Do you even have one? Or are you still only wishing, hoping, and waiting? Here's a practical exercise. Take your definite desire statement from earlier. Now write down 3 specific actions you will take in the next 7 days. 3 people you can add to your mastermind or network. 1 deadline for your first measurable milestone. Keep it simple, but keep it real. This is how dreams turn into goals, and goals turn into reality. One more truth. Planning is not about knowing everything in advance. You don't need a 100-step roadmap. You need the first 2 or 3 steps. Once you take them, the next steps will reveal themselves. Think of driving at night. Your headlights only show 200 feet ahead, but you can drive across the entire country that way. Planning works the same way. So tonight, before you sleep, I want you to commit. Stop drifting. Stop waiting. Stop thinking success will just happen. Instead, decide, I will organize my desire into a definite plan. I will act on it daily. I will adjust as needed. I will persist until I succeed. This is a 6-step to millionaire mindset. Success is not built on desire alone. It is built on organized planning, backed by immediate action, strengthened by persistence, and supported by a mastermind. There is one quality that separates winners from dreamers, leaders from followers, millionaires from the masses. Napoleon Hill calls it decision. Successful people make decisions quickly and firmly. Unsuccessful people delay, hesitate, and change their minds often. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I'll start tomorrow, I'll decide next week, I need more time to think"? That hesitation is the silent killer of dreams. Procrastination is not just a bad habit. It is the single biggest thief of opportunity. Hill's research was clear. The 500 richest people of his time, including Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Andrew Carnegie, all shared this trait. They mastered the habit of prompt decision. They did not wait for perfect conditions. They did not let fear of criticism paralyze them. They chose a direction, committed, and acted. Let's make this real. Henry Ford was once criticized by his advisors for sticking with the Model T automobile long after competitors were offering more variety. But Ford was decisive. He believed in his vision of affordable cars for the masses. His firmness built an empire. On the other hand, how many businesses die because their founders hesitate, waiting for certainty? The world moves fast. Opportunities vanish quickly. Those who wait get left behind. Here's a truth. Indecision is a decision. Every time you fail to choose, you choose failure by default. Now, let me ask you, how many opportunities have you lost because you hesitated? The job you didn't apply for, the business you didn't start, the idea you didn't act on. the conversation you didn't have. Imagine where you would be today if you had simply decided and acted. Successful people know this. Decisions create momentum. Action creates clarity. Waiting creates regret. Hill warns us that the greatest enemy of decision is fear of criticism. Most people drift through life not because they lack ability, but because they fear what others will say. They worry about being judged, laughed at, rejected, and so they stay safe, silent, and stuck. But here's the reality. No matter what you do, people will criticize. If you try, they'll doubt you. If you fail, they'll mock you. If you succeed, they'll envy you. So why not decide to live boldly on your own terms? Let me tell you a story. In the early 1980s, a young man named Howard Schultz discovered a small coffee shop in Seattle called Starbucks. He imagined turning it into a global brand. But when he proposed expanding, the original owners resisted. They thought it was too risky. Schultz faced a decision: stay safe or risk everything. He chose decisively. He left, raised money, and pursued his vision. Today, Starbucks has over 30,000 stores worldwide. His fortune was built not on waiting, but on deciding. Now, how do you build the habit of decision in your own life? 1. Get clear on your desire. Indecision often comes from uncertainty. If you don't know what you truly want, every choice feels confusing. But when your desire is definite, decisions become easier. 2. Trust your intuition. Your subconscious gathers more data than you realize. Successful people trust their gut and decide. If they're wrong, they adjust, but they don't stall. 3. Set deadlines for decisions. Never leave choices open forever. Give yourself a time limit. Decide within 24 hours, 48 hours, or a week, depending on the importance. Without deadlines, procrastination takes over. 4. Take imperfect action. Waiting for perfect conditions is a trap. Conditions will never be perfect. Start where you are with what you have. The act of moving forward will reveal the next step. 5. Detach from fear of criticism. Remind yourself, critics don't pay your bills. Their opinions don't define your future. What matters is your vision, your persistence, your action. Let's be honest. The reason most people don't grow rich is not lack of knowledge or opportunity. It's lack of decision. They intend to start. They plan to start. They dream of starting. But they never decide. And so life slips by. I want you to feel this deeply. The wealth, freedom, and impact you desire are waiting on the other side of a decision you have not yet made. So here's your challenge. Right now, yes, right now, write down one decision you've been avoiding. Maybe it's launching your business, quitting a toxic job, investing in yourself, or committing fully to your goal. Write it down. Then set a deadline. I will decide by tonight. Remember this. The longer you wait, the weaker your will becomes. The quicker you decide, the stronger your confidence grows. Decision is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Think of every decisive person you admire. They are not necessarily smarter than you. They are simply quicker to decide and slower to change course. And that firmness makes the world follow them. The truth is, life is short. Opportunities don't last forever. Every day you delay is a day you cannot get back. So choose, decide, commit, act. This is the 7th step to the millionaire mindset. Procrastination is the enemy. Decision is the master key. Success belongs to those who decide who they are, what they want, and what they will do, and then act without hesitation. Persistence is the invisible force that separates those who succeed from those who almost succeed. It is the ability to keep moving forward when everything in you wants to stop, when the world tells you no, when failure knocks again and again at your door. Napoleon Hill says persistence is to success what carbon is to steel. It strengthens you, hardens you, and makes you unbreakable. Every person who has achieved wealth or greatness has faced setbacks, defeats, and failures. The difference is not that they avoided challenges. It's that they refuse to quit. Most people surrender at the first obstacle. A few fight a little longer. But the rare ones, the ones who build empires, fortune, and legacies, they persist until victory is won. Think about Thomas Edison. He failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Reporters asked him how it felt to fail so many times. Edison replied, "I didn't fail. I discovered 10,000 ways that didn't work." That is persistence. He never saw failure as permanent, only as feedback. Or consider Colonel Sanders. At the age of 65, broke and nearly hopeless, he carried his fried chicken recipe door to door. Over 1,000 restaurants rejected him, but he kept knocking, kept persisting. Finally, one said yes. Today, KFC is known worldwide. That was not luck. That was persistence. The truth is, persistence is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It is a habit. Every time you refuse to give up, you strengthen it. Every time you quit, you weaken it. Success demands persistence because riches do not come instantly. They come to those who keep going long after others have stopped. Napoleon Hill identified 4 steps to building persistence. The first is definiteness of purpose. When your desire is strong and specific, persistence comes naturally. A vague wish does not create persistence, but a burning desire does. The second is faith. Believing that your goal is possible gives you the courage to keep going when logic says stop. The third is organized planning. A clear plan gives you structure and direction so that setbacks feel like detours, not dead ends. And the fourth is close alliance with others, the mastermind principle. When you surround yourself with people who believe in you, their support fuels your persistence. Think about the people you admire most. Athletes who train despite injuries. Entrepreneurs who fail but start again. Leaders who face ridicule but keep speaking their vision. Their greatness did not come from talent alone. It came from persistence. But let's be honest, persistence is not easy. It means fighting when you're tired. It means trying again when you failed. It means believing when evidence says otherwise. Most people lack persistence not because they can't endure, but because they don't have a strong enough reason to endure. That's why you must constantly remind yourself of your desire, repeat your auto-suggestions, and see your vision vividly in your imagination. Those mental habits fuel persistence when the road gets hard. Let me share a modern example. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, was rejected by 12 publishers. She was unemployed, living on welfare, struggling as a single mother, but she persisted. She believed in her story. Finally, a small publisher took a chance. Today, her books have sold over 500 million copies. Imagine if she had quit after rejection number 10. Persistence is the bridge between desire and achievement. Without it, even the best plans collapse. With it, even average plans succeed. It is persistence that makes the impossible possible. Now ask yourself, where in your life have you quit too soon? How many dreams have you abandoned at the first obstacle? What opportunities have you lost because you lack persistence? And most importantly, what would happen if you simply refused to quit this time? Here's a practical challenge. Choose one goal you have right now. Commit to giving it 90 days of relentless persistence. No quitting, no excuses, no matter how hard it gets. Track your progress daily. Every time you feel like stopping, remind yourself why you started. Visualize the finish line. Say to yourself, I will persist until I succeed. Remember this. Every time you persist, you are not just moving closer to your goal. You are shaping yourself into the kind of person success requires. Success is not something you pursue. It is something you attract by the person you become. Persistence is what makes you that person. The world often rewards a stubborn dreamer, not the brilliant one. History is filled with stories of people who were not the smartest, not the richest, not the most talented, but they were the most persistent. And because they refused to quit, the world had no choice but to give them what they wanted. So tonight, make a promise to yourself. Whatever your dream is, wealth, freedom, success, you will not stop until it is real. You will fall, but you will rise. You will fail, but you will try again. You will face rejection, but you will persist until rejection turns into acceptance. This is the 8th step to the millionaire mindset. Persistence, the unshakable, unstoppable determination to keep moving forward until victory is yours.